Well, Justin, thank you very much. We have a great neighbor in Canada, and Justin is doing a spectacular job in Canada. Everybody loves him, and they love him for a reason, so congratulations on the job you're doing.
Make van life great again.
JustIncredible.tv.
Hey, ladies and germs. So I'm driving and I'm pretty busy today, so I didn't have time, but I was planning to actually make a tinfoil hat and put it on for this video because there's been a lot of developments with the whole situation going on right now, including calls by the WHO, the United Nations, and a former UK Prime Minister calling for basically a one world government, a global government to fight the problem right now. I've never been that far into the tinfoil hat universe. I mean, I am well aware that there are lots of forces out there and organizations and billionaires that would love to see a one world government and the loss of national sovereignty and the loss of civil liberties and herd everyone into cities. And I mean, that stuff's not tinfoil hat at all. That's not conspiracy. That's right out in the open, and it's, you know, nobody should question that at this point in history. But the fact that it's being openly discussed publicly now because of this situation has got a lot of people's eyebrows raised and hair standing up on the back of people's necks, because it's exactly what a lot of whistleblowers have been talking about for decades now. And whether or not the crisis is natural or man-made or dangerous or not, there's a lot of conflicting data on that as well. But almost all of the verifiable data from places that have done widespread testing shows that it's actually not that deadly at all. It is going to be for some people, just like the flu, but the UK has officially declassified it or unclassified it. It's no longer considered classified as a high consequence infectious disease, which and one of the reasons they listed for that is right off the government website, is the fact that thanks to new information, they now realize that the mortality rate is very low. So why all the hysteria? You know, that's for another video, for all the other people out there talking about that. I've already gone over my 2 cents on that. What I want to talk about is what's the end game here? What's the end goal? And I know a lot of people that follow me have their theories. So that's kind of what I want to gather those people around now, because I've been trying to stay away from the whole tinfoil hat thing. But some of it's right in front of our face now, and we've got to talk about it, because a lot of the proposed solutions and the fallout from those solutions are going to be infinitely more dangerous than any infection would be. Drop it down below in the comments what you think is really going on, what you think the end game is going to be. There's been a lot of pundits talking about how when the dust settles, just coincidentally, all mom and pop businesses will be pretty much gone, because most of them can't survive a month, let alone 2 months or 3 months or 6 months or a year being closed. But who's still going to be around? I'll tell you who. The Walmarts and the Amazons of the world, they're still going to be around. And who's going to benefit from all of this? And yeah, it's a scary thought. I'm seeing the economic devastation all around me, and friends that have worked their entire lives for their small businesses, taken out second mortgages and loans, and after 10, 15, 20 years of working hard, they're finally about to turn a profit, and then now, boom, gone, just like that. Now, there's no chance, and they'll be lucky if they even have a business at all after 2 months of this. So this is happening everywhere. All your mom and pop bookstores, coffee shops, art and craft stores, like all this, all of it's going to be history if this continues. And we're going to be in for a very different reality. There's lots of people talking about cashless society now, because even the head of the WHO, which I wouldn't trust to run a lemonade stand, has been talking about how cash is dirty, which of course he's part of a group of many other elites out there that would like us all to go cashless and be easily tracked and have everything digital. There's a big push for that out there. Thankfully here in Canada, the actual Bank of Canada put out a press release asking businesses to stop refusing cash. And that's good, because I'm one of those cash guys. If you don't take my cash, you're not getting my business. Not just today, but forever if you're going to refuse cash. I bought this van with cash. The entire purchase price with $100 bills. And I believe in cash, and I would not ever want to go cashless by force. Sometimes I use my credit or debit cards, sure. But I choose cash primarily, and I usually take out cash to survive between paychecks. I take out cash, a certain amount, and that's what I live on. I think people have to stop trading their security and their privacy just for a little bit of convenience to tap your card. Just put 20 bucks in your wallet if you're going to go out for dinner and use the cash. It's the smart thing to do. But there's a big push to get rid of that. And there's also a lot of people, of course, talking about mandatory vaccinations. Well, I don't think they're going to have anything forced on people. I think that what can happen here is it's going to be pushed on people more in the way of, well, sure, you don't have to have one. No, we're not going to make you. But if you don't, you can't get on this plane. You can't walk through an airport. You can't do all sorts of things. Probably can't even get on public transit. I mean, you're going to have to prove that you had it. Now, my opinion on this. I wouldn't take a vaccination for this any more than I would for the flu, and I don't take flu shots either. I would rather risk catching it every year if it was a yearly thing. And I'm not worried about that at all. If someone's going to forcibly try to put a hole in me, that means I get to put a bigger hole in them first. That's my attitude on it. And that doesn't mean I'm an anti-vaxxer, not at all. But for something that's so not dangerous, this is not a black plague, I wouldn't go near that. I would not go near a vaccine. But that's just my opinion. But there are people out there that are actually terrified of what's going to happen here. When most of the population is broke and afraid, they tend to put their hands out and depend on government for protection and safety, the illusion of safety, and to feed themselves. And that's what's happening now. Government's handing out our money back to us, basically, in large quantities to try and get everyone through this, so they say. But what's going to happen is that people are going to be more dependent on government than ever before. And let's be honest, there isn't a big government out there, at least certainly not the federal liberals, that aren't clamoring at the idea of that. Here, the Prime Minister, Justin Trudeau, just got caught 2 days ago trying to pass an emergency bill to provide funding for citizens and some other measures. And he tried to sneak in a section in the legislation that would have given him full power to spend and tax as he pleases until the end of 2021, and it would have been without any parliamentary oversight, and nobody could stop. Basically, we're in a minority government right now. He would basically be switching it to a majority government, and nobody could stop him, and he could do whatever he wants. He wanted to basically become a dictator, and good thing our opposition parties caught it, and the outrage was pretty fierce the night before the legislation was passed, or was tabled. And he ended up having to take that entire section out of the bill to get it passed. So thankfully we managed to dodge that bullet. But the fact that the leader of the nation was even trying to put something like that into legislation is just mind-boggling, but it just goes to show how he doesn't give a crap about citizens. Most governments don't. Most prime ministers or presidents don't. It's all about goddamn control, power, and of course at the end of the day having us all dependent on them. And there's a big push to get people to move into cities, and they're easier controlled. Look, if we're all in one place and we're all broke and we're all afraid, big governments can basically do whatever they want to us. And most people, it's sad, and this is the scariest part of the whole situation, scarier than anything else, including any bug that you might catch. The scariest part of all of this is that a lot of your fellow citizens, I would say the majority, will gladly accept whatever is imposed on us if it means that they can return to some kind of normalcy. And that's what's going to be handed to us on a silver platter. Don't worry, government's here. We're going to help you. We're going to save you. All you need to do is this, and all you have to give up is a little bit of this and a little bit of that. And anyone that thinks the emergency acts and the emergency legislation being passed all around are all going to be temporary. Oh, geez. Were you just born yesterday? All throughout history, governments use and abuse this sort of thing, and it almost never gets reversed and repealed and put back to normal. For all my friends south of the border, how's that Patriot Act doing down there? I heard it was temporary too. Is that right? I'm asking for a friend. So guys, what do you think is the end game here? What are we going to be faced with? As you can tell, I'm very concerned, as are many other people, about what's coming. And all of my concern is about the aftermath of the current situation. The current situation, I'm not worried about at all. It's what's going to happen because of it. And I'd love to hear, I want to hear, a lot of you are very intelligent out there, a lot of you have done a lot of research, so fill the comments section. I'm loving it. I'm loving all the comments I'm getting on the last few videos about people in their RVs leaving town and stuff, and it's awesome to hear from all of you. So let's get interactive here. Now, I obviously am not talking about people way off the deep end. If you're going to start talking about lizard people and aliens and chemtrails and 5G and all that, just forget it. Go to the Alex Jones channel or something like that. Okay, let's be realistic here. That's fine if you want to believe that stuff, but I don't. What I am believing is that the situation is real. It's not as dangerous as it's being made out to be. And it is being exploited. Whether it was planned ahead or not is up in the air. But the fact that it's being exploited now isn't even a question. So why is my question? What's the end game? I have my personal theories, and I just gave them to you now. And there's a lot of evidence out there to support what I was saying. But I'd like to hear what you have to think. All right? So keep on rocking in the let's hope it stays free world.
Warning, Just Incredible TV is not gluten-free. Click that subscribe button below and make van life great